How you doing? Welcome to the first official Volvonauts broadcast. We changed the name of the channel. I just changed it to something I thought was a little bit more cool. I like that better. If you don't like it, I don't care. First of all, we've been doing a bunch of work on the garage down here. What I'm not calling it the race station, the Volvonauts race station. So we've been doing a lot of work on the garage while we're waiting for all the parts for the 240 to arrive. I've been having tons of rain this week, so I haven't been able to really do a lot with this car being parked outside without an alternator. So I'm waiting for the alternator to come in and we'll be able to move it back into the garage. What else we got going on here? There's going to be some guests coming on, some other guys bringing their Volvos in, maybe wanting to get them modified or maybe not. Just going to check them out and see what's going on with their rides. We got the Volkswagen sold. If you guys been following along, we did a video where we fixed up the Volkswagen and got it ready to sell. So now I took the money from the Volkswagen and buying a bunch of stuff to get the 240 on the road. The first thing I did was order online my new alternator brushes, new belts, and some new OEM Volvo spark plug wires. So that should get this thing running better and charging the battery. And then I went to Harbor Freight and got a bunch of other stuff, snap ring pliers. Finally got a creeper for on the floor, float charger for battery, some fog lights for this thing. They're pretty cheap. And then I went online also and got a new headlight bracket for this side, which is broken. New turn signals, new tail lights. I got a B-grind cam for in here, and also the IPD Sport exhaust. So we're going to be installing that stuff once we get it running solid, and then we'll start doing the modifications. Also got a bunch of trim clips and stuff like that, bumper clips, just little, stuff that breaks off of these cars. Today's video is going to be TD04 turbo breakdown video, and I'll take you in there in a minute and start that up. Okay, folks, TD04 13T breakdown and rebuild video. This is a turbo from I think about a 2007 Volvo XC70. This is a P2 car. These turbos sit down and underneath the firewall. I removed it from a car in the junkyard and I had a hell of a time getting it out. But we're going to break it down today and show you how to rebuild it. This will cover the TD04 all the way back to the TD04H 13C and all the way forward up to the TD04HL 14T. Okay, the first couple things you're going to want to do, assuming that the turbo is still in the car, you can take this stuff off when you get it out. You're going to need to get your wastegate actuator out of the way first. That's a 12mm nut. Sorry if this camera's shaking around a lot. So the other side of this has been cut off, but the other side of this would be connected to your exhaust housing with a little retaining pin. You would just pull that out, take this off. Then you would have to get the oil lines and the coolant lines off the car. These are really hard to get off. They were a 17mm nut. I had to heat them up on the turbo. So these are 17mm banjo bolts. Coolant line. Oil line. actually not sure which is which. These all have copper crush washers that you're going to need to replace whenever you reinstall the turbo. And then you have your oil drain line on the bottom of here. This is an 8mm. There's a gasket underneath here. You're going to need to replace that when you reinstall the turbo. There's your oil drain line. Oil drain gasket. Now you'll have the turbo out of the car, and you'll be able to remove compressor bypass. This is a 10mm. Inside here you have a rubber diaphragm. You're going to want to check that for cracks and splits. Most of the time you're just going to replace it. There goes my spring. All covered in sawdust. So you have rubber diaphragm, a spring, plastic follower inside there. You're going to want to check your rubber diaphragm for any splits or cracks that are going to cause a boost leak. Usually if you get inside here, you're just going to replace this. This one here has significant amount of dry rot on the outside. We're going to replace that with a better one. You got your spring, your plastic follower, a retainer, it just snaps together like that. The next step is going to be this big circlip in here. You're going to need a big pair of snap ring pliers. The first time I took this off of here, I just used needle nose and I had a hard time. And then I went out and bought these, the correct tool. Actually, this is not the correct tool. I need to get the other set. It is correct. It is correct. This is not going to be easy. Okay. Something like that. Since this thing's been pre-disassembled, it's just going to come apart, but you're going to want to tap it with a rubber mallet. This is your compressor cover. You can set that aside. This is your CHRA. On the inducer side, we have 8mm. You're going to want to hold the back side with a 12mm. Or no. That's going to be a 13, huh? No, 12. Keep in mind this is reverse thread. Back off your compressor nut. Juicer wheel. Compressor wheel. Set that aside. And you're going to take a rubber hammer and gently tap your exhaust spline through here. We'll set that aside. Looks like we got one of the bearings with it. Alright, now we need our smaller snap ring pliers. Or needle nose in some cases. I should have this in a vise. Alright, we're going to go in on the vise. Fuck you! You're supposed to take 2 screwdrivers. I'm just going to use one because I'm all pissed off now. And work this thrust surface up out of there evenly. All my parts are going to fall out the back side of the turbo now. Okay. Okay. Removing the thrust surface. I should probably go find that O-ring. That C-clip. Alright. After you've gently removed the C-clip, gently pry out the thrust surface. And this thing, like oil splash guard. And then you're going to take your pick and start pulling these guys up out of there. Bearing, more thrust surfaces, set them there. That goes underneath that guy. You got another oil bearing there. Okay. And then we're going to pry our little exhaust plate cover off. That's all dirty in there. And that is an empty CHRA. And then you can take this and clean it up with some, however you choose to clean it up, degreaser or whatever. And your rebuild kit's going to include all these parts except for these clips. This thing. The rebuild kit's going to include new thrust surfaces, new bearings, pressure plates, and new piston rings for the front and the back of the turbo shaft. Yeah, that's about it. I'll post up another video whenever we get the parts for the 19T.